Wie ihr alle wisst, habe ich meinen Porsche Boxster ja den Motor komplett erneuert, also mit alten Teilen natürlich wieder ausgestattet, die ich dann ein bisschen so revidiert habe, weil ich hatte ja einen großen Gleitschienenschaden. Also zwischen Kurbelwelle und Zwischenwelle bei der Kette ist eben diese Spannschiene gerissen. Habt ihr ja gesehen, in meiner Ölwanne waren super viele Teile drin und ich hatte das eigentlich gar nicht vor. Ich wollte eigentlich nur die Zwischenwelle erneuern, um einfach einen Motorschaden vorzubeugen und meine Ventildeckel abdichten, damit das Auto nicht mehr ölt und ich einfach ganz normal durch den TÜV komme, ohne dann erstmal vorher mit Bremsenreiniger untenrum alles sauber zu machen. Und was mir sehr dabei geholfen hat, waren die Videos von Aaron Sorgius. Und er hat einen YouTube-Kanal in Amerika, der heißt Help Me Do It Yourself oder in Kurzform Help Me DIY. Und den müsst ihr unbedingt abonnieren, weil diese Videos haben mir so viel geholfen, meinen Motor wieder instand zu setzen. Weil ohne das hätte ich das gar nicht geschafft, weil in Deutschland irgendwie alles unter Verschluss gehalten wird, was Porsche betrifft. Ich habe keine Drehmomente für meinen Motor gefunden. Porsche wollte mir keine rausrücken. Und dieses Buch, was man hier kaufen kann, weiß ich nicht, wie es heißt, ich habe schon wieder verkauft, das hat mir auch gar nicht geholfen, ja? Deswegen abonniert den Kanal von Aaron.
Guten Tag, YouTube.
I just told my audience that it's not usual, I guess, that some German girls watch your YouTube videos to rebuild an engine. And I
Yes,
just want to
actually,
introduce you.
yes, thank you. Hi, everybody. Sorry that she has to translate for me as I'm not a German speaker. But yeah, I did look at my analytics the other day, ironically, and there are 4% of my viewers who are women. So, yes.
So can you tell me something about your experience with rebuilding engines? Did you learn that, or how do you came up with that?
So, great question. I started my channel actually because I'm not a mechanic and I don't know anything about cars, and I was just trying to be cheap and save money by learning how to do things. And like everybody else, I go to YouTube if there's something I don't know how to do. And if there were any videos, or if there weren't any videos out there on what I was trying to do, I do have a background in photography and some cinematography, not back when I started, so don't watch those old videos. But I decided that yeah, I'd make a video to help the next person. And then I started making some of those with no intentions of ever having a YouTube channel. A lot of people started watching them and liking the fact that somebody took the time to make that for them. And it was really cool. And I was like, people make money at this somehow. So let me figure out how to do that. So I got monetized, and now here I am just continuing making videos. It's not my full-time gig at all, but it's a fun way to make enough money to pay for some car parts. And
Could you believe that? Any random girl in Germany used your videos to rebuild a Porsche Boxster engine, and it worked out in the end.
no, that was pretty wild. Yeah, I saw you building it, and I was like, oh man, she's using my videos. I'm really nervous. I hope this works.
Do you actually know what was the problem of my engine?
Uh, yeah, I mean, when I saw the pieces, I was like, ooh, she has some pretty bad internal stuff going on there. And what I try to tell people in my channel all the time is I am not a mechanic. I am terrible at diagnosing problems, but I'm pretty good at doing research and figuring out how to do things. So I always go to the forums, figure out what I think my problem is, and do it. And then, a lot of times people come to me and they think I'm an expert and they ask me for all of this advice and what they should do. And I was like, sorry guys, what you saw on my channel is pretty much the extent of my knowledge. So, whenever people come to ask me questions, I politely say you should probably talk to a real mechanic about how to do that.
All right, did you believe that the engine would actually fire back up?
Yeah, I thought it would. I didn't know if it would run well, so I was really happy for you. And I saw the look in your eyes when you started it for the first time, and I remembered that exact feeling of terror and excitement at the same time, and hoping that it would not blow up.
Yeah, I didn't replace all the parts. I didn't replace the pistons, not the camshaft, no, not the valve springs, or even the valves. every time I sit in my car, my ears are so sensitive because, oh, there's a strange noise.
Yes, yes. Anybody that rebuilds their engine is gonna hear that. They're like, I don't remember if it sounded like this before because you didn't really pay attention. You just assumed that it was good and everything worked. And now you're like, is that a ticking noise that's bad, or has it always done that?
So, I mean, I watch your videos, but I did it my own way. So, what do you think about how I built up my engine? Because it was like a Neanderthaler way, I would say.
Yeah, I was super impressed with what you accomplished and the tools you had because you didn't even have an engine stand and when you had it up in the attic and you were working on it, I was like, oh my gosh, like how is she even going to get this down? So yeah, you came up with some very creative ways to do things, and I don't. There's a lot of people that say that this is the right way, and people, I'm sure you will get the same thing. Comment on your videos like, "Oh, you did this wrong. Like you have to do it this way." And I tell people that there's always lots of different ways to do it, and often they all work. Sometimes there's wrong ways that will be bad, but yeah, it was really cool seeing you go about it differently than me.
Now, the crazy thing is, I have never done this before. I mean, yes, with motorcycle engines, but never on a car engine. And would you say that everybody that has no clue with engines, that they can use your videos and it will work in the end?
Yes, I mean you're a good proof of that, I guess, because if you did it and it worked, then I have a lot more confidence in my videos than I did before. But like you, I had never done it before. This was the very first engine that I had ever built, so it was a little daunting. And like if somebody had asked me how engines work before I did this, like I mean, I have a general idea, but I don't even know a lot of that stuff. But by using other good guides that were out there, I tried to make the most comprehensive, at least the most comprehensive free video series that anybody can use and watch to do it themselves.
I also didn't have an angle torque wrench. So, what do you think about my idea with the smartphone and a compass
That was
on the
awesome.
torque wrench?
I was very impressed with that. Yeah, so you'll have to insert a clip here of you doing that because when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, I guess that's one way to do it. Yeah, that's very creative. And I'm sure it's going to work. A lot of people that I see don't even use torque wrenches and stuff at all. So I was like, oh, well, it's
Oh,
better
okay.
than nothing.
Yeah. Would you say in the US it's easier to do such projects because of maybe the community knowledge, because maybe the US is more like do it yourself, or there are forums where you can ask your questions, or even that the manuals are free to get? Because I had problems to get any torque informations about the engine.
That's a good question. I know that there are forums here in the US that are really helpful. And I did have the factory manual that you can get online and buy and download. And then I also had a book that you'll see in my video series that I use that has all of the torque values that somebody else went through and put that book together and sells them. So I can put a link to that in the description if anybody wants to get that book. It's super helpful, obviously, if you're going to build the engine. I tried to include all of the torque specs that I was using, but there are different variants of the engine that are slightly different. But I guess a question to you would be, I've never been to Germany, so I don't know what it is like over there as far as forums and access. Do they have, does, I would assume Porsche being German that they would have lots of forums and enthusiasts, but do you think that the US has more?
I think the Americans have a different mentality to just do it. And
Yeah.
I had a lot of people around me that told me, just quit it. Don't do that. Don't ever get the engine out of the
Yeah.
car. So it won't
The,
work. So
the
that's
German
everything I heard.
engineers are much smarter than you, so don't try to to figure it out. Is that?
I mean, I went to America just once, but yeah, I was very comfortable there. And I also visited a workshop in San Francisco. It was pretty cool because it was an old workshop with Porsche, Mercedes. Yeah, it was a little bit, I don't know, not so stiff like in Germany. And the manuals, I downloaded was also, they were also from America. I didn't find anything in Germany like that.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, because my theory, people are all my friends and stuff are that know that I'm not a mechanic, are very surprised usually when I do these things, and they're so impressed with it. And I was like, I mean, it's just, assembling parts essentially. So like, if other people can do it, why can't I do it? And if I mess something up and break it, I take it to a real mechanic, which would be what I have to do anyway. So the worst case scenario is I learn a little bit, screw something up, and take it to somebody that knows what they're doing.
So the last question is actually, what's the difference between the costs of the parts in Germany versus the US? I just sent you my list of my parts and what they cost. So you can maybe just make a little comparison.
Yes, I'll
And
have to
we
pull up my
can,
parts list, and we'll have to
yeah,
compare the prices. I'll be curious to see what the differences are.
I paid about 8,000 euros just for the parts, and I think it's a little bit more than 9,000 US dollars when you
Okay.
just yeah, change the.
I think mine was somewhere between 17 to 20,000 US dollars. So
It's more than the worth of my car.
yeah, yes. So, well, this was on a 911, so it
Yeah.
was worth a little more. So I got the value back out of it when I sold it. And I
Yeah.
also rebuilt the engine on a Cayman S987, and I did a lot more custom and expensive stuff and headwork and things like that on that car. And that engine, with me doing all the labor, I still paid 33,000 US dollars for it. It's my dedicated track car, and I wanted to keep it. So yeah, it was really cool to see somebody else doing it. And so thank you very much for making the content, because I obviously know how hard it is to film and do that work at the same time. So
Yes.
I appreciate that.
All right, and then I would say we will see you next video,
Yes,
and
we'll
we
get back
talk
together
about the
again
prices.
for sure. Yes. All right. Well, it
All
was
right.
great to meet you, Jill. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time, and
You're
look forward to
welcome.
the next one.
All right. Thank you so much, and see you.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.